Hi, I'm Jonathan Eder, and this is the piano lesson. I'd like to talk a little bit about major scale fingering. Now, playing a major scale with one hand is going to require that you use certain types of fingering. There are standard fingerings. It's not the only way to play the piano, but it's certainly a very useful starting point. We can divide the fingering up into two groups, white key fingering and black key fingering. So a major scale that starts on a C, let's say, on a white key, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our major scale fingering. So each finger gets a number. Thumbs are 1, 2, 3, 4, pinkies are 5. And as I'm playing the scale, the moment that I finish playing the thumb, the moment I play the index finger, I'm going to cross my thumb under the hand. And this is what I'm doing. It looks just like that. I'm going to cross the thumb right under the hand. We used to think of it as trying to catch a fly on your finger, on the pad of near your pinky. But you want to get it prepared so that you're ready to play the fourth note in the sequence, which is F. And those are the fingers that you would use. So going under with the thumb and coming down, crossing over with 3. So the fingering 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Now that applies to 6 of the 7 major scales that start on a white key. So we did C major, up a fifth to G, same fingering, up a fifth to D, again thumb goes under the hand, up a fifth to A, up a fifth to E, up a fifth to B, and down a fifth from C, which is F major. That's an exception. We're going to cross the thumb under after the 4th finger, and we're going to end on the 4th finger. And the reason we do that is because the thumb is a shorter finger, it's lower on the hand, and B flat is a note that's higher, and it's set back into the keys. Now you could play the thumb on it, it's possible, especially if you had long thumbs, like Rachmaninoff had long thumbs, but it really is much easier just to use the 4th finger and then end on the 4th finger. So that's the only exception. It's very similar in the left hand. You could think of it almost as a mirror image. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, crossing with 3. Up a fifth to G. Up a fifth to D. Up a fifth to A. Now up a fifth to E. All the same fingering. Up a fifth to B would be an exception. Rather than starting on the pinky, which would put our thumb on a black key, we're going to start with 4 and cross 4 over here. So similar idea to F major. F major in the left hand, however, if you go down a fifth from C, follows the rule very nicely. So white key major scale fingerings essentially are all very similar. The exception in the right hand is F major. The exception in the left hand is B. So those are the 2 exceptions. Now, black key scales also follow a rule of what I call corresponding fingers. So for instance, if you take your right hand, you place it naturally over the group of 3 black notes, and observe that you're going to almost always, I see people putting the 2nd finger, 3rd finger, and 4th finger over that group of notes. Remember, the piano is your friend. It's made to go with your hand. So that's why we don't have a piano that is a piano that looks like a white key followed by a black key followed by a white followed by a black followed by a white. incessantly all the way through. We have this group of 2s and 3s, which actually helps our hand a lot. So if you're going to start a scale on any one of those, what I call corresponding fingers, those are the starting fingers for the scale. I'll show you what I mean. So G flat or F sharp, start with the second finger. And the first chance you get to play a white key, you use your thumb. The thumbs go with the white keys. The thumb, again, it's lower on your hand. The white keys are lower, the black keys are higher. The thumb is a little shorter, the white keys are longer. It makes perfect sense. And again, if you're going to start a scale on the second finger, well, then you want to end it on the second finger, so be consistent. Again, you don't have to all the time, and realistically in a piece of music, you might not, but just to get in good habits and for practicing. So I'm starting on 2, I'm ending on 2. Same thing with the A flat scale. Third finger, thumb goes on C, thumb goes on F. First chance I get to play that white key, I'm going to use my thumb. And I started on 3, so I ended on 3. Crossing over 4, 3. I mean, again, it's possible to use other fingers. I could have played 3-2 here instead of 4-3. But the problem is, what if I want to continue playing the A flat scale? What if I want to go down another octave? Then I would have a problem. For instance, 3-2, then I'd be stuck. So 4-3-2, and I continue to another octave. So we're not just limited to playing a scale in 1 octave. We would play it in 2 or even 3 or 4 octaves for that matter. And most scales should be practiced ultimately at least 4 octaves in both hands. Same idea with B flat. B flat would start with the 4th finger, and you'd use the thumb on the very next white key. So those are the corresponding fingers for the group of 3 black notes. These are the corresponding fingers for the group of 2 black notes. D flat, second finger, E flat, third finger. E flat major, thumb goes on F. So you can find these fingerings in any scale book, but these are some rules that will just help you get started in a quick way so you don't have to always look at a book or try to remember something by rote. Now the left hand black key scales in many ways is even easier. You have 5 black key scales. 4 of them all start with the same finger. They start with the middle finger, the third finger. Let's take a look at that. D flat, E flat, third finger, A flat, and B flat. They all start with the same finger. Only G flat starts with the 4th finger. And I want you to notice something. If you start with the 3rd finger, and you play a group of 3 notes, and you're playing a scale that has 7 notes in it, well, 7 take away 3 is 4, so you have to cross with the 4th finger. You have to create a group of 4 notes. You start with 3, cross with 4. Start with 3, cross with 4. Start with 3, cross with 4. Well, it's going to be the opposite if you start with G flat. You start with 4, group of 4 notes, you cross with 3. And again, you end with the finger that you started with. So you want to be consistent so that you can continue up another octave. And play 2 octaves if you like. Now, there are other scale fingerings. Those are the most conventional. You could certainly play a scale just with 1 finger, just with the thumb. That's very, very useful. Or the second finger. I mean, that way you're not burdened with having to worry about what fingers to use, and you can focus on the notes of the scale. And there are certain technical reasons you might want to do that too. I read a very interesting book that looked at how Mozart would play a major scale. So Mozart would play 1, 2, 3, 5, and then when he ran out of fingers, he would play 4, 5, 4. And then when he went down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, there are some distinct advantages to using that scale fingering, both in terms of the sound that you get and the feel that you get. And you can get a certain type of articulation that you probably would not get otherwise. One of the problems of playing a scale and crossing the thumb under is that you have to be careful not to make the thumb stick out, not to accent the thumb or inadvertently make it too loud. So these are some quick tips to getting started on major scales. Now, when you start to put both hands together, I would advise people that rather than practicing in what's called parallel motion, where you play both notes, both hands play the same notes in parallel motion, I advise starting in contrary motion. And the reason I advise that is that even though the sound is a little bit more dissonant, the fingering is exactly the same in both hands. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Works out perfectly. You can't do that with all the scales, only with several of them, but it's enough to trick your mind and trick your body into being able to play in parallel motion. So again, my rule for practicing, take a simple idea, approach it in a variety of different ways. Let's pick an arbitrary number, let's say 3. So scale fingering, you might use conventional fingering, hands separately. Then you could play it in contrary motion. Then you could play the notes just with one finger. That's actually harder than it looks in some cases. And contrary motion, you can certainly do G major. You could do D major. I suppose you could do A major. And even E major. And those aren't too bad. The other scales don't really lend themselves to contrary motion as much, partly because you have fingering exceptions on B and on F. And black key scales are another story to playing in parallel motion. So those are some of my quick start fingering tips for major scales, and I hope that you gained something from this. If you have any questions, drop me a line at thepianolesson.com. I'm Jonathan Eder. Thanks for watching.